What's happening, Ward Wrestling here, man? It's been a while since I had this guy, Coach Carter, on. I had him on a few years ago. He was at Tampa Plant. Now he's over at Berkeley. We call him Coach Carter, military guy. So obviously, uh, we don't tell him Happy Memorial Day because he lived through it. We tell him Happy Veterans
Exactly.
Day. But I'm
Yep.
sure he celebrated Memorial Day because I'm sure he has friends that have fallen, unfortunately. But God bless you. The military and wrestling has always been a part of his life. Like I said, he was at Tampa Plant. Now he's at Berkeley doing his thing. What's up, Coach Carter?
What's up, buddy? It's been a minute, but I'm glad to see you again. Glad you got back doing these podcasts. It's good for the sport, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's been really fun, kind of getting back into it a little bit. Uh, Kind of touching base with people again. Obviously, I see people as I'm out and about, but
Yeah.
a lot of people have done a lot of different things from the COVID days to now. So it's kind of cool to get that
Yeah.
story and see where they've grown. Some people like yourself have moved on to other places and
Yeah.
uh, and talk about that. So, man, you were coaching at Tampa Plant. You've transferred over to Berkeley. How's that been going for you?
Well, I'll go into it too a little bit about leaving Plant. Plant was my baby. That was me and Brian, like he said last time on your podcast, we took a team that was like hadn't won a dual meet in almost 3 years, and hadn't had a state qualifier in like 14 years, and took them to something relevant, and not we weren't competing with South Date or anything, but we could hold our own against anybody really. So it was good to see the success that we brought it from nothing. And so that was I had invested a lot, man. And anybody that knows me, I'm super passionate, and it's always kids first. And safety is paramount. I'm that type of guy. I'm not a win at all cost type of guy. The wins and losses, they'll come, and if they don't, so be it. But I'm not going to jeopardize anybody, to get a W. So being at Plant was crazy. The end of it. So first off, anybody that's built a program, they'll know that it's not going to be success. It can be, but most time, I don't have all the college credentials. I'm not any sort of medalist or qualifier or anything like that. So it's tough to build a program based on your coaching history alone. And I have a little bit of a background with the MMA, and I did pretty good in high school. And I've been coaching for 15 years now, so I can draw some interest. But to come in and have somebody else that was a 3-time, like Connor Beebe, right? I don't know him personally, but I know his resume, and I know that the kids that come out of his club are studs. So for one, I got no problem sending my guys to him all summer long, even during the
He's
school year, man. I don't care,
Yeah, man,
and
he's a good
the
guy,
more,
and he loves the kids too, and he loves to
yeah.
teach them. And but yeah, I mean, you were there, and then
And then
and then you left, and
yeah,
everybody was like, "What the hell's going on?" And
exactly. It was strange.
rumors swarmed, and I don't know anything about it. And look, I'm not. I know you personally, and you don't
Yeah,
come off to me as that type of person or whatever. You've always been very cordial, and when I've seen you around the kids seem to love you.
yeah,
When I've seen you coach, you've seemed very passionate. Again, I'm not a parent in the room or a kid being coached by you or somebody in the opposing corner. So
yeah.
uh, for me, I don't know what happened there. We heard a
Well,
few parents were upset and with the coach, and the next thing you know, you were gone and off to the other side of the rainbow.
yeah, yeah. So basically, we were building, and it was coming to a harvest year, man. I had like 9 or 10 seniors in the lineup that were my kids that I brought up. No transfers in, this was homegrown. And, I figured we'd at least make it to team regionals that year. If anybody from, it's tough, man. Our district is crazy tough. So, well, Plants. So if you make it out of team districts like Steinbrenner or Palm Harbor, you're usually getting to team states as well. So it's just crazy. I don't want to say usually, but it happens. So I had brought in a parent, and apparently I didn't do a good enough job explaining the boundaries and roles. I'm the technician, I'm the guy that does the coaching in the room. I needed someone to do more of my admin stuff. And again, that's on me. And before I even really get into any of this, I've like completely forgiven anybody for any wrongdoing to me. And I know that we're all out here just trying to do our best. That's the thing, is like when I look back at certain actions that certain people had, regardless of how it affected me, those people thought they were doing what was best for themselves and for the people around them. So
So you were able to take a step back after the smoke cleared and say,
oh yeah, it
okay,
hurt at first, bro.
I see why that was done. I see why,
Oh
and
no, I didn't see why.
but you
I'm just
understood.
giving grace, bro. I'm just giving
No,
grace.
no. What I'm saying is you kind of said, okay, I guess I understand why a parent thought in the position they were doing the best for what they thought they
Yeah,
were
I
doing.
guess I could see it, but it was insane. It was insane because
Whether
they
the
should.
outcome affected you, but well, and that's pretty. A lot of people in your situation would have started, MFing and doing things that were uncalled for,
Yeah, but I wanted to coach again,
and
dude. I want to
really
represent Jesus
affected.
properly, you know?
Right, and really affect your character. And you didn't allow that to affect who you are or your character. You kind of just said okay and moved on. And I'm sure behind closed doors you had a few choice words for people, but in the
Yeah, I
public,
did at the time. And I kept that to my super small. My circle got smaller. I'll tell you that
man.
much.
But it's big of you. I mean, I'm sure being a guy that's been in wrestling, in fighting, but most of all your military background,
Yeah,
I'm sure you were able to hone in on that mentally and say, okay, this is just another one of life's hurdles. Satan's trying
yeah.
to get me.
At the time, it was.
Satan's trying to get me here. Satan's trying to get me here.
At the time when it first happened, I thought I was done, crying in the principal's office 20 years ago. But they called me, bro, they called me in for the review and they were like, look, a parent screenshot something that you texted. And I'll tell you exactly what I texted too. We got all these kids that will, fake injuries, or because if you get labeled concussion protocol, mislabeled concussion protocol, you're gone, for like 2 weeks. So what I said was I tried to intercept, which you're not really supposed to do. You let the trainers do their job. But if I can, your kids. I know my kids better than some of their parents know their kids, you know. So what I said was, if a kid kind of gets his bell rung, okay, I'm not a doctor myself, but I said, you take them out of the match, don't let them wrestle anymore. And then you send them to go get the parent immediately and you go, hey, you guys go to a real doctor right now. Go home and go to a real doctor. That way he doesn't get misdiagnosed by some kid who's inexperienced as a concussion, and then they're out for 2 weeks. They can go to a real doctor and get a real diagnosis. And so that text message from a year and a half prior, dude looking through his text to just find something incriminating, sent that to the county AD, and the principal and the AD were basically like, yeah, Jeremy, we love you. We appreciate everything you've done, but it's a safety thing at this point. And I was like, dude, are you kidding? Like, everyone knows I would never put a kid in harm's way. Like that, my whole point in saying that was to basically make sure that the kid is safe and healthy. Otherwise, if I was to try to get wins, I'd put him back out there. But that's not me. It's get him off the mat, get him to a doctor.
Oh, and I agree.
Yeah.
And obviously it's very, very, very important with head injuries that
Yeah.
not only do we have, and I understand there are very, very good qualified athletic trainers inside our school programs. Obviously there's programs that have young kids there and kids are being taught how to test. And yes, they probably
Yeah,
have the
exactly.
minimum they probably have the minimum level of being able to say, yes, we can see there's a concussion here, but then we need to refer them to a medical
Exactly.
doctor and make the decision. So I don't think I think Jeremy understands clearly that there are a lot of qualified people inside our schools. Um, but um, but yeah, same thing happened. I have children who wrestle. They both have experienced concussions. They've had to go to the adult athletic trainer and get checked first, and then they put him in protocol, and then they have to go see a medical doctor. A medical doctor has to confirm the decision, and then has to put him in the process, and then
Yeah.
they come back. So yeah, I
Which
think
is good, which is safety, which is the proper precautions we should be taking. Just to be
right.
clear again, I am saying to pull the kid off the mat and not let him
Yeah,
compete anymore, like
for
a
sure,
safety issue, you know?
absolutely. But we can't make as a parent, obviously, we say, okay, make sure our kid is right, and then
Yeah,
as a parent, sometimes we're going to make emotional decisions, but we're not
yeah,
doctors. Well, some parents are doctors and they can make the medical decision, but as
yeah,
far
yeah.
as
Especially
most of them, right?
at Berkeley and Plant, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's behind
But
you
yeah,
now, and I'm glad that you were able to kind of get that off your chest and let people know.
yeah. And then, like I said, man, I've forgiven anybody involved in my heart, you know, but I know how much I've been forgiven for as far
Yeah.
as, you know, just me as a Christian.
Right.
And so, and it took a minute, man. It wasn't overnight, you know, but
No,
it was, you
I'd
know,
imagine, and then I hope. I'm sure I don't know the parent or the kid that was involved. I'm sure they're amazing people, amazing young man, amazing adults, and thought at the time this was what they should do. So hopefully,
yeah,
looking back
exactly.
at it, they've changed that. But man, fast forward, you're over at Berkeley. You're coaching there now,
Berkeley.
right?
Ooh. Yeah. And so after that happened, you know, it was tough too, because I think there was like 17 or 19 kids that didn't come back for wrestling that year when I left.
Mm.
You know, just absolutely I don't want to it decimated the program. It like at least cut it in half. Jay Powers, that guy is awesome. He luckily was able to, he just retired from the Army as a lieutenant, or actually a colonel, and so he had the time and ability to actually step up and take my spot. So they weren't left without anybody, but the stables were cut in half, like half the kids quit. So it was tough for the program, and they're still feeling it a little bit. But at Berkeley, bro, wow. Berkeley is another, my administration, Mel and Dana and Tina, they are the best. They are so supportive. They make it so easy for me to do my job. I get to show up and coach wrestling, and tell them my ideas, and then they make my ideas happen. So I don't have to do a bunch of crazy paperwork. Um, it's just exactly ideal. We at Plant did not have a wrestling room, right? We were pulling chairs out, and a lot of schools are like that. I get it. It's not that big a deal, but Berkeley, I've got two wrestling rooms. I got one for upper division, one for middle division. I
Wow.
get to coach with my little brother. My brother is on staff now. Mike is awesome. So it's a dream there. The kids, no problems with their grades. They're not getting in fights. They're pretty good kids. I mean, most kids are all pretty good kids, but this environment at Berkeley, there's a reason it's so expensive. It's like
Yeah.
Hogwarts there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. So good for you. So listen, I mean, things happen for a reason, I guess, in life, and they've
Yeah.
put you in a place. Now, you're the head coach there?
Yeah. Yeah. Head coach. We just had our
Nice.
first, my first season there.
Nice. Good for you. And well, you can build the program and kind of do your thing and get better. But I'm glad that you're back on your feet. I'm glad you're doing well. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see you out at tournaments and duels again. And
Yeah.
I'm glad we jumped back on. I was glad to have Brian on, and obviously your name came up because he and you are best of friends. And
As my dog,
um,
dude. When he
yeah, and
left, he told me I got him on speed dial, and I could call him at any time of day, and he'll answer all my track wrestling problems and questions. So he was like, "Look, I know I'm going to Texas, but you got me on speed dial." It's like, all right.
yeah,
So,
now Oklahoma, right?
yeah, man, that is so cool. I'm gonna, a lot of the Berkeley kids go to these Ivy League schools that are like the top of the D1 schools, but if I can, I'm gonna push to him. I know what a great coach he is and what an asset he's going to be for those kids at that stepping stone to get to the next level. Man, I love that podcast. That was great. It's great for wrestling.
Yeah, it was fun having him back on. It's been a long time. I think he was in Florida, then he was in Texas, and now he's in Oklahoma. And I remember during COVID, he made me these little Ward Wrestling masks, and he sent them over to me.
Oh, dude, he made those?
Yeah.
I didn't even know I had one.
Yeah, yeah. And I was handing them out and everything. Yeah, he's the one that made those. That was
I probably knew that. Probably forgot it.
yeah, that was really fun. But man, it's obviously it's good to catch up, and
Yeah.
I hope they're at Berkeley, and I'm glad you reached out because I'm getting that off your chest is good, and
Yeah.
and I'm sure the kids at Tampa Plant. I'm sure you've got a great school, a great home.
I still talk to most of the kids I coached from Plant.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, they're good. Actually, a special kid from Plant, Will Putnam, undefeated state champ. Went to Clemson, ended up being the number 2 all-time snaps for Clemson in
Oh,
the
wow.
history. Yeah, that's a ton of snaps, dude.
It's
So,
a ton of snaps.
yeah, and he didn't get drafted, but he signed a deal with the Raiders this year.
Oh, how cool is that? And
Yeah,
he was a wrestler.
yep, he was one of my wrestlers. He transferred from Illinois. I call him my karma state champ because
And
he
let
just
me
got
ask you a
dropped in
question.
my lap.
Did he play football in high school?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's
Okay,
what he
okay.
did.
And then
Dude,
he
the
went to
first time I met
Clemson
him, yeah. Yeah,
to
he went to
play
Clemson.
and played football there.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
now you're drafted by the Raiders. Awesome. So a wrestler that played football and got drafted. Imagine that. A football
Imagine that.
player that wrestles and got drafted. Uh, wow. To all the football coaches out there that say wrestling doesn't matter.
Dude, when he got to Clemson, it was him with 1 state championship under his belt, another guy on the offensive line with a state championship under his belt, and then I think it might have been the center, but I don't quote me on that. But another guy had 3. I know there was 5 state championships on the offensive line between 3 players. So,
Wow.
you want to play football, you better get in the wrestling room. It's simple, dude. It's simple.
Easy. Easy.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know if it's easy.
yeah. It's not easy, but easy to understand, but not
Yeah.
easy to do. Not easy to
Speaking
do.
of football too, Berkeley just won their first state championship. So Coach Sayo, congrats. He was over at a different school for a while, and then he finally knocked one down here. It was a great run. I got to witness a lot of that. So hopefully I could start getting some of those football players in the wrestling room.
That would be very cool.
I got one. He's going to be a freak. He's a big boy.
Good for you, man.
Reminds me a lot of Will.
Well, man, I really appreciate you coming on here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
And,
got let's see what else is going on.
oh, hey, before we get off of here, you got a camp coming up, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. Got a camp coming up. Knew there was something big. Camp is going to be signing up through Berkeley summer programs. You can just Google it, Berkeley summer programs. Go to sports, go to wrestling. I'm doing starting on June 17th, that Monday, from 12 to 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. I'm doing coaching 6 through 13-year-olds, and then immediately,
Nice.
yep, immediately after that, it is 3:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. 3:30, 5:30 Monday through Friday. 14 through 18-year-olds. So high school, basically a middle elementary. And that's going to be awesome because it's 5 weeks over 6 weeks. There is a 1 week break. So we end like July 26th, I think, and you can sign up on the website. It's great. I've already done one camp for Berkeley a while ago. And again, they just make it so easy for me to just show up and coach. All I got to do is advertise a little bit and try and get more kids in there. But right now we've got about 15 of the little kids and about 15 of the high school kids as well. So it's all ages. all skill level. That's one thing I can kind of pride myself on, is being able to run a practice where I've got multiple levels of kids where, okay, you guys are the studs, you know, those kids obviously don't need as much coaching, but you can put them together. Hey, you can help him out today. Today you guys are going to go over this. We're all going to be doing this type of thing. And then you guys come with me. You know, I've always had to juggle, and it's easy for me. So it doesn't matter if a kid is brand new and their parents just want to pay for daycare. Okay, you might as well send them to learn a valuable skill. So yeah,
Cool.
it'll be great. Yeah.
Well, get out there and see his camp. Obviously, another camp in our state. There's so many going on this summer. So, and they're all over the state, including his. So if you're looking for a place to get better at, it's not too hard to find one. You'll see it. They're happening all over. He's got one. BB's got one. Lake Island Prep's got one. Mariners got one.
Like Gibson's got one.
Gibson's got one. Kurt, Goog's got one. I mean, they're everywhere. I'm sure I'm missing some, but
To the kids that
down in South Davis State Champ Camp, and you got Pat Lugo's camp, and you got everybody. You've got Florida Pride is coming up here soon.
Yeah, when is
which
Pride
is another
again?
big 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, or something like that. That weekend.
Okay. I think Osceola's going on right now too. Can kids
Osceola's going on this week.
Yeah.
That's
Can
another big one.
kids still get into that if they haven't, or is it too late? You know?
I don't know. I'd imagine if you call them up or hit them up, I'm sure they'd let more kids in. I'm sure they.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I don't think they have a limit.
So yeah, I need to get my guys, more of them, into stuff right now for the next 2 weeks. But I don't know what I was thinking. See, the Berkeley summer programs is we can't do an open room where, like back in the day, you just come in, bring your shoes and drop in, and nobody cares about insurance or waivers or background checks. So it's not like that at all anymore. But with Berkeley, with the camp, they sign up, and everything is taken care of like that. But they only go in June and July. So I'm looking for team camps in August, like a college send away camp, and they just don't exist. They're all in June and July. So I can't find anything in August. The only one I found in August was Young Guns up in PA, but
I was just going to say that.
Full. It's full though. So yeah, you were talking. Do you know Jody?
I do know him.
Yeah,
he's a good dude. But even if you know Jody, you still got to put yourself on the waiting list.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Because it fills up fast. I mean, I saw him at Olympic trials, and I was speaking to him about one of my kids going, but it was full. And then it turns out he opened up some extra spots, but now with the older one qualifying for the Pan Ams that same week, we're going to be in Lima. So it's going to be difficult to do all that. So
yeah,
but man, I hope Berkeley becomes a special place for you. I hope you're there for a long time,
man.
And I'm glad to get you back on here.
I appreciate it. Yeah, all the pieces are in the right spot, and it's just now got to get in, get some more kids in. I got to advertise some more kids in the school to make it a cool thing to do. That's again the same thing about what we did at Plant. It's about changing the culture, change the culture of the school, change the culture of the area, make it somewhere where kids want to wrestle, that they know they're going to be poured into. They know they're going to have a coach that cares about them and not just about their wrestling success, but about their life, and to get them into a college. I just got, Kaylee Reed, she's going to Naval Academy. All of the guys that have come through Berkeley are going to good colleges. So I'm just super proud of the kids, and it's nice to be able to go, look, this is the type of thing that we do. You're not just going to be somebody that goes out and gets wins or losses for us. You're going to be a person. You're going to be valued. And you're going to have fun too. That's the most important thing besides safety.